Hi, I'm Stephanie,
And I'm Justy, and
and
together
together
we're
we're
losing
losing
it.
it. We've each lost over 100 pounds with the help of diet, exercise, and breaking bad habits. And I also had weight loss surgery in 2020.
And I recently had skin removal surgery.
We're just sharing our journey and what we've learned throughout the process.
And we're not doctors, so if you have any medical questions, reach out to your doctor.
Welcome back, friends. Today we are going to talk about two of I guess, forgotten helpers in the weight loss world. We primarily go to exercise and food. That's what we've been taught our
Mhm.
entire life is, exercise, eat less, whatever. Um, but two really important components to that, to weight loss, is also going to be sleep and hydration. And those are the things that we don't put kind of front of mind, but they're just as important as the other two. And so, with that being said, I'm going to kick it over to Justy and I'm going to let her talk about the importance of sleep.
Yes. So like Stephanie said, we forget about sleep. We forget about hydration. I was actually talking to my mom, Miss Linda, the other day, and she's like, "Some friends of mine are going to start on May 1st," and I'm like, "That's great." So this mom, you need to listen to this, because the place to start is sleep and hydration. If you can't do that, you're not going to do the whole anything else,
Right.
right? The tracking food, all that stuff, whatever you decide to do for yourself, you need to get sleep and hydrated first.
They're
So,
kind of the low-hanging fruit, I feel
yeah.
like, because
Yeah.
it's overwhelming to think about, like, what's my meal plan
Hmm.
and all of that other stuff, but it's low-hanging fruit. We know how to put ourselves to sleep,
Really,
right? We know
really,
how to drink water,
right.
but it's getting that
It's
routine
doing
in.
it.
Yeah.
So sleep, obviously the biggest reason that it's super important is for energy, because you have to sleep in order to have energy. Typically about 7 hours is going to be the goal. Some people will get more than that, and that's great.
Mm.
But anything less than that, really, studies have shown that you're just not doing yourself any good. I don't know if Stephanie is the same way, but when I was running restaurants and this and that. Like we prided ourselves. I only got 5 hours of sleep last night, or
Right.
15 hours a day. Well, that nobody should be doing
I did a
that.
close to
Like
open.
nobody should be doing that. What the hell were we
Yeah,
thinking?
yeah.
And then also while we're sleeping, our body does some amazing things. So it repairs itself.
Mm.
It all the work that we did throughout the day, it repairs itself. And while it's repairing itself, it's burning some calories. So that's
Yes.
always
I'm
great.
always amazed when I look at my tracker and
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "God, I burnt 500 calories while I was asleep."
Right. It increases our focus. I am somewhat unfocused at times, but definitely when I haven't had sleep, I just don't feel as sharp as I normally do. It also helps regulate our hormones, and we've talked a lot about our hormones when we were talking about Manjaro and all of the different hunger hormones and that sort of thing. So I'm not a doctor, so I can't get into that, but it does help regulate your hormones. And then what's the other one that I have? Oh, I think that's it. Sorry, I can't read my own
Oh,
writing,
but
but
when it comes to hormones, so
mm,
ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and when you have weight loss surgery, that part of your stomach is cut out when you have sleep
mm.
surgery, but it comes back. They don't tell you that. They just tell you they're going to cut it out. And I'm like, yes. So, in the beginning,
Mhm,
I'm like, sweet. So I'm never going to be hungry. This is awesome. But over time, as your hormones regulate, it comes back. And
mhm,
so your sleep really helps to decrease that hunger hormone,
mhm.
um, sleep and water, which when we get to that, we'll talk about that some too. But and then I forget what the other hormone is, the one that makes you less hungry.
I have no
Starts with an
idea.
L. I don't remember. I'm not a doctor either. I'm a chef. But yeah, so it makes the hormones play better together.
Mhm.
That's layman's terms.
And of the two, the sleep and water, I struggle with sleep the most, and Steph actually struggles with water the most.
Yeah.
So, what we're gonna each do is kind of talk about our struggles with each of them before we figured it out, and then kind of what our routine is now.
Yeah.
So now that we've kind of figured it out, I still struggle with sleep, but I have at least a routine now that works for me most of the time. And last night I had some happy lovers above me, so that was a great 2
So,
a.m. wake
right.
up. I'm like,
Okay.
Jesus,
Yeah.
everyone's having a good time.
Right.
Sancho and I are not. So anyway, sorry, mom. So I don't know, Steph, you want to talk about your struggle with sleep that you've had?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. So for me, Um, I'm a very banker hours person. I wouldn't say I'm a night owl, but I'm not a morning person, and I am cranky as fuck when I don't get my sleep. And you can ask anybody who's ever been on the recipient end of that, or like when my sleep is interrupted, or whatever the case is. And so being married to a night owl does not help me. So there's a part of me that wants to be able to I don't even know how the right word is to say it, be able to like be there and present and try to, enjoy our time together, but when midnight, I turn into a pumpkin, a literal pumpkin. I just can't be present and focused. I can physically be there, but my mind has shut off. So, over the years, I've learned that, like, midnight is for sure my cutoff,
Mm,
because I mean, I don't have to get up for work to, like, go anywhere. I work right here. But I still have to get up in the morning and work and function and, be on point like you had said. So for me, I now have a rule. I want to be in bed by midnight. In bed by midnight. Now I'm not necessarily going to be asleep because it takes a minute to like, unwind, but I need to be pajamas, contacts out, face washed, whatever, teeth brushed in bed by midnight. And once I started doing that, that's when things started, like, getting
mhm.
better for me, because if I can be in bed by midnight, then I can be up by if I'm in bed for 8 hours, I can typically get 7 hours. That's just what I've learned about myself. So that's kind of that, like, 12 to 8, and that works perfect for me. But before that, like, especially if he would, like, work close at night or something like that, I try to stay awake, or when he would come home, he would wake me up, and next thing you know, I'm, like, having a full-on conversation, and I'm like, "Fuck, my sleep's interrupted." And when my sleep is interrupted, I am just an awful person. I'm not lying, like, it's bad. I know it, and I've had to apologized several times, and I just don't like being woke up. And so yeah, that's for me. But my I would say in the last month or so, I discovered I'm a 12 to 8er. That's just my comfort zone for me.
And did you struggle with ever like be struggle with sleep other than that? Like before, like back when, before
Uh,
you had the surgery and that sort of thing or whatever, did you struggle?
Yeah, it was the same thing, and, before surgery, we went out a lot. I
Mm,
know restaurant folks,
oh
they
yeah.
like to party, and
Yeah.
we were just talking about it before
Hmm.
this, how it was like a badge of honor, like, "Oh,
Hmm.
I closed to open last night." Like, nobody should ever be doing that.
Right.
It's a rare thing, but, like, we would pride ourselves on how little sleep we got. You do a new store
Mhm.
opening, it's like, "I slept 3 hours last night." Well, how, like, great are you today? You're not. You're not doing me any
Right, or I
good.
remember I was actually talking to, Steady Eddie last night, and it was, I don't know, 9:20, and we're
His
like,
bedtime.
"Okay, it's time to go to bed." And I was like, "Man, like, back in the day, this is when I would start
Start
getting
going out,
ready,
yeah.
and if I could get to the club or whatever by midnight, I knew I had, like, 3 hours to get good and ready,
Yeah,
and then, in bed before the birds started to sing, and then up at 9
yeah,
to be to work by 10.
right.
So, yeah,
And
super
there's
crazy.
still some of that for us now, so, like, if we go out with friends, sometimes we don't go out till, like, 9, or if we go, like we like to go it's so lame, we like to go bowling. If we go bowling or something like that or whatever, like, I know that I'm gonna be out till probably, like, past but that's like a date night, that's like an occasional thing, that's not like an all the time thing anymore, but before surgery, it was an all the time thing,
Mhm.
probably 5 nights a week. I don't like, that's so incredibly unhealthy, and I
Yeah.
never looked at it that way then,
And I
ever.
was the same before, probably in 2015 is when I moved to Tampa. So 15, 16, 17, I think I was going out, every probably Thursday,
Salsa
Friday night,
dancing.
salsa dancing, having a good time,
And you'll
drinking
still
too
do
much. I
that, but
still do
it's
it,
an occasional thing, it's
but
not an all the
you know
time.
what? It's hard. I
You mean I
struggle
gotta
now
stay up?
because I'm 14 now. And
Right.
so like for me, I have always struggled with sleep. My brain is always going.
Mhm.
I can't turn it off. Um, I'm a light sleeper.
Me
So
too.
noises, light,
Light
any of
and
that
noise for
stuff
me.
wakes me up. Once I'm up, it takes me 2 hours to fall back asleep. to the point where I'm just like pissed off at my pillow because like I can't
It's too
sleep.
hard today.
It's like I have
I
always
accidentally
struggled.
I my blinds right next to the bed, I turn them up so that way the light
Mm,
doesn't shine in on me. Well, last night when I closed the blinds, I closed them down. This
mm,
morning I was like, "Why is it so fucking bright in here?" And it was like 7 o'clock and I was
mhm,
wide awake. I'm like,
mhm,
"Damn it." And that I messed myself up because I went to bed past midnight
mhm,
and then the unfortunate sunlight woke me up this morning, and so it's like that's even part of my routine is turning
mhm.
the blinds the right way. It's crazy, but I'm a super light sleeper
And
too.
I never had a routine before
Mhm.
because A, I was a single mom raising two kids. I had, a restaurant to take care of. So my schedule, one day I would open, one day I'd close, one day we'd go out, one day we wouldn't.
Right.
Like I never knew what my schedule or life was going to bring. Now, I still, unless I have to do like a random inventory here and there or what have you, I'm pretty much done with work by like 8 o'clock,
Right,
right?
right.
And so my routine now is I'm done usually about 8 o'clock with dinner and this and that, shower, everything. And then Steady Eddie usually calls me around
8:30.
8:30.
I know it's
Um,
time too.
yeah.
I'm like, "Oh,
So
that's Steady Eddie's."
he calls me around 8:30. We'll probably talk till 9 or so, sometimes 9:30, depending on if he's feeling crazy that day or not. And then after that, I like when I'm talking to him, I take my melatonin
Mhm.
and then I drink a hot tea. And when I'm done talking to him, I brush my teeth. I put my facial routine on. And then Sancho and I get in bed.
Mm.
And I will watch a little bit of TV, but I put my phone away for the most part because my phone will keep me up. I'll
Mhm.
start online shopping. Shit, I
Right?
don't know. I know I don't even need. Looking through Amazon, looking at Facebook, looking at this, and then my brain will just start. So I try not to do that. Sometimes I do put on like I like to listen to owls. I
Hmm.
don't know.
Ooh.
Ooh, ooh. It puts me to
Who?
sleep. So and
I could
yeah,
see that being
yeah.
relaxing,
So I
yeah.
listen to owls. There can't be any lights on.
Yeah.
And so I'm usually asleep
We'd
by
be great well, we are great travel
we
partners,
are.
but
Yeah.
we would be great, like,
Right.
dating.
Right. Right. If yeah, if we
If
like
we liked women.
girls, which is fine if you do. So yeah, so since I've been doing that, I'm an early riser. So I'm usually asleep by 10:30.
Mm.
But I get up at 6, well,
Mhm.
sometimes 5. Lately it's been 5. I naturally wake up at that time. No alarm has to wake me up. I just wake up at that time. Now, the days when I am super productive, it's because I got up when I woke up.
Right.
On days when I'm feeling like a little bit, it's because I lollygagged around in bed all like for an
Mhm.
hour or two because I
I
didn't
did
have
that this
anywhere to
morning.
be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I can surely do some things now that I would normally do at night. So now when I naturally wake up, I give myself like 10 minutes
Mhm.
and I go make a coffee. I weigh myself and sometimes not every day. And I make my coffee naked. I think we've talked about this before. And then I weigh myself, I take my vitamins and I go on with my day. I started working out early. So I get, well, let's see, if I go to bed at 10:30 and I'm up at 6, how many hours is that? I'm not good at math. Um,
7.5.
so 7.5 hours. I also wear an Aura ring, which I don't have on today because I'm charging it right now. And it really tells me like, I love that thing. It's not like not closing any rings and shit, but it's telling you like, did you sleep really good? Did you deep sleep? Did you not deep sleep?
Mhm.
Are you ready
That's
today?
the same with my watch.
Like
It
it
tells
gives you
me
a
all that.
readiness
Yeah.
score. So like, are you ready for today? Or should you just kind of relax today? And I do listen to that. It's funny because if I eat later too, I notice that I don't get as good sleep. Like if I eat later at night, which I usually don't eat past like 6 or 7 anyway. So that's my routine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my so my routine, like I don't have a I don't have a routine quite like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that I want to be my goal is to be in bed by midnight. I like to be up at 8. That's like that's as routine as it gets for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Which is really, really weird
right,
because I'm not a routine person
right.
and you
And I am.
are.
Yeah. And
So,
so but then on the flip side of that, listening to you talk about it, I don't watch TV. I don't even have a TV in my room.
mm,
I don't watch TV. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched TV. It's been
I'm
weeks.
rewatching Yellowstone right now because I
Okay.
just watched it and I'm watching it again.
Okay.
Yeah, because I really want a ret in my life. Anyway,
I have
um,
no idea who that is, but I can just imagine.
I want someone to call me darling
Darling.
with a cowboy hat and boots.
piece of
Anyway.
straw. But yeah, so I don't really watch TV at all. When I do, it's because there's like a series that I like,
Mhm.
or
Or like background noise.
yeah,
Like when I'm working, I'll put it on.
sometimes I used to put this one
Mhm.
on, and I would put reruns of Sex and the City because I've seen that 1,200 times, so it doesn't matter, or Dr. G Medical Examiner because I've seen all of them too. So it
Mhm.
just like, yeah, but I haven't done that in a long time either. I'll go in like kind of spurts with that, but nonetheless, there's not even a TV in my bedroom. I
Mhm.
just don't watch TV in bed. But what I do is I get on my phone and then
Mm.
I fall down the goddamn rabbit hole of
Yeah.
like, oh, well, look at this person's post. Let me start saving real sounds
Right.
because that's what I need to do at,
Mhm.
midnight. Or like you said, shopping, like, oh, I really needed X, Y, and Z. And then
Mhm.
an ad will pop up. So yeah, I probably need to work on that habit of, if I do get on my phone in bed, having a cutoff time of that too.
And my cutoff time, so I talk to Steady Eddie and then I plug in my phone right after that. And then I go do my facial routine or whatever, blah, 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 yada, yada. And I don't touch my phone again unless I want to turn on my owls. Or if something does really like important pop in my head, like my daughter calls me or,
Right.
something random. But yeah, I don't. And then and then now I wake up when I wake up
hmm
instead of like, oh, let me like snooze, even though I don't have an alarm. I don't even have an alarm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I only have them when I need them, and
Hmm.
most of the time I don't set an alarm. But yeah, I mean, I definitely, it's different now than it was before because before I didn't even have a goal time.
Hmm.
I just did whatever.
And I'm at the point now where like I'm super, super lame. So if someone's like, hey, Justy, you want to go do this? Or I'm like, what time?
Right.
Because I'm,
She's been
listen,
like that when we've been gone like, "Oh, we're gonna go bowling," or whatever, and you're like, it's just
it's
too
just
late
past
for
my
me." And I'm
bedtime.
like,
Like
"Okay."
I can't do it.
Right.
Because tomorrow's gonna be like shit. And I mean, on exception, I will do it. But even with like, I want to start taking now that I'm healed, I want to start taking my salsa classes again.
Mm.
But man, they're not until 8.
Right. Right.
And then in order to like be good, you have to practice, and that's usually like Friday and Saturday nights. But they don't even start till 10.
Right.
And
That's even later.
how is that going to
Right, you
happen?
should be, like, sawing wood at that point.
Right. Like, and so I just, for me, sleep has become very, very important. And it also comes with age, I think. Sleep
Yeah.
becomes more important.
Yeah.
But
I'm an old lady.
man, I wish when I was younger, I would have like
Paid more
paid more
attention
attention
to
to
that,
sleep
yeah.
because quite honestly, all those nights I was out drinking beer and shit, I don't even know what those people are doing now.
Well, also, like,
So
right,
like,
exactly, and
I have no
think
idea.
about all the calories that you
Oh
consumed
my
in
gosh.
drinking. You wouldn't have consumed those because you'd be
Right.
sleeping, burning calories.
Right. So anyway, sleep is super important. So Miss Linda, if you're listening, you and your friends are going to start on May 1st.
Start now getting
Start
your sleep or
right.
whenever this
So
launches in a
right.
couple tomorrow 2 days.
So getting sleep is super important. And just having like getting 7 hours of sleep is very, very important.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing that, figure out how. And if you are doing that, awesome. Move on to water.
And just with anything else that we talk about, you don't have to do Justy's routine now.
No.
But what you should do is at least start thinking about where you're at now, meet yourself where you're at,
Hmm.
and what's the one small change I can make tonight.
Right.
And then tomorrow, how can I build on that? And
Hmm.
then get yourself to a routine. And it's not until you have, like, you now, when your routine is broken,
Hmm.
you don't like it.
Right.
Whereas when you first started, it's like, well, I could do this or well, I can do that. But
Right.
once you get into that routine, you're golden. But you've got to
Hmm.
start somewhere. And I
Hmm.
say, start where you're at and make one small
And
change.
listen, people will tell you you're no fun anymore,
Mm.
and that's okay. People
Those
tell you
people don't pay your
they'll
bills.
say that you're stuck up,
Right.
whatever. But
Oh, you're better
listen,
than everyone.
yeah,
No, I
no,
just like my sleep.
I just like my sleep and my future, my goals. So anyway, the next thing that we're going to talk about is water
Mhm.
and why water is so important. Um,
Hydration in general, because I will say, and I didn't choose this on purpose, but I really was feeling like some tea today.
mhm.
This is still hydration. It's still sugar free. It's still, I'll get into it later, but like hydration in general, it doesn't necessarily have to be just plain water.
Water,
And
right?
we'll get into that
Because
further.
yeah, and so there's a lot of well, let's talk about why water is important. First of all, obviously to be hydrated.
Hmm
It is an appetite suppressant. So like if you think you're hungry and you're not physically feeling it, drink some water. I guarantee you can probably wait another hour or so. It does give you energy. It helps boost your metabolism. It helps your muscles function better. And it removes waste,
Yeah, flushes the
right? It flushes all the
toxins,
toxins out of your body. It
makes your
helps you,
skin look good.
yes, it helps you burn fat. So there are so many benefits to being hydrated. So Steph really sticks to a 64-ounce routine
Mm.
and tracks it. We all know I'm not a tracker.
I don't track
Um,
it.
even though,
It's
okay,
tracked right
in her
here,
head.
but I know, and I'll get into it. I
Mhm,
know how I know.
mhm. And then I go by my pee. So I like my pee to stay pale, pale, pale yellow. I typically drink 4 32 ounces a day of water, and I like just straight up water. I used to not, so we can talk about that too.
Mm.
I don't know what 4 32 ounces is, but that's what I drink
Mm.
because again, I'm not good at math, even though I run
Well,
businesses.
you're doing twice of the recommended amount
Oh yeah,
then.
because 32 and
32
32
is
is 64.
64.
Ooh,
Look at
so
that.
128.
Yeah, you're doing a gallon.
That's what's up. So, I do that on a typical day. Now, since it's summer, I've been drinking iced tea,
Mhm.
as a little bit of that, and I have a 32-ounce container that is only for iced tea because I don't like putting tea or anything in my water
Mhm.
bottles. So there's that. So yeah, so why don't you talk about your struggles because it is a struggle with you with being a bariatric patient.
Yeah, well, bariatric and Manjaro. Manjaro made me less thirsty, as if it wasn't bad enough already that I was, because as a bariatric patient, it's hard because you have to keep your food and your beverage 30 minutes apart. You can't I'll take a couple sips before I eat, but I certainly can't take sips after I eat because it is just the most uncomfortable, painful feeling of putting liquid on top of a full stomach. And so when your stomach is the size of a banana and you've eaten a meal and then you go to take a sip, it's just like it feels like a brick hit.
Mm,
um,
interesting.
yeah, it's painful, and so you have to wait, and sometimes if I've had like a really well-rounded meal, that's protein dense, it's more than a half hour sometimes because I just know how my stomach feels, and I know when I can take that sip and when I can't. And that's because I'm 2.5 years post-op, so you just get to know what the feeling is. So sometimes it's more than a half hour, sometimes I can get it by with, like, 20 minutes, it just depends what I'm eating. Um, so that's really where my struggle comes in because you have to separate the 2. But also, just like not thinking about food and eating, I don't think about drinking. I have to think about it in order to, actually get it because I don't feel thirsty, just like I don't feel hungry. So it's like I just have to think about it. I love coffee. I don't have to think
Yes.
about that. So my trick, and before surgery, I would drink a gallon of water a day without even thinking twice about it. I was fine with it after surgery because I was like, "Oh, I've got this. I see all these people struggling with water. I drink a gallon a day. I'll be fine." No, bitch, you won't because I
Mhm.
wasn't. And I learned that the hard way that, oh, they really do struggle like following other people's journeys. It's not that they're just bad water drinkers. It's hard. So for me, my new within the past probably year or so, and I fall off of it sometimes, but I have a 24-ounce water bottle, like metal, refillable water bottle. I take that to bed with me full. I I
I do
have
the
it.
same thing.
I have it just in case I need it,
Mhm.
but it's mostly there so when I wake up first thing in the
Mhm.
morning, I start drinking it. I don't allow myself to drink my coffee till I've had 24 ounces of water.
Mhm.
And if I don't do that, I'll never meet my goal for the day because when I drink my coffee, it takes me hours to drink my coffee. I like to sip my coffee and then I have to eat breakfast and I've got to space it out 30 minutes and then I got to eat my breakfast. Then it's another 30 minutes before I can drink again. So like having to space it out makes it that much harder. But so if I do 24, I get that 24 ounces and I can't guzzle like I used to guzzle, but I can kind of guzzle. So I'll get some down, I'll go brush my teeth. I'll get some more down, I'll do my Lumen.
Mhm.
I'll get some more down, I'll take my, uh, my allergy pill, or if I'm taking omeprazole that day, I'll take that, whatever my morning, pills are, and it's just those 2. And so by the time I get downstairs, I start making my coffee, I drink some more. Even if my coffee is made I have it done because I do the Nespresso and everything. If I have that done and I still have some water, I won't go back upstairs. I won't walk away with my coffee until I'm done that water because I know there's no way in hell I'm going to reach my goal if I don't get this 24 ounces in now. And I'm just trying to get 64 ounces, and the coffee doesn't count.
Mhm.
So then I'll drink my coffee. I get through that throughout the day. By like by time lunch by the time I have lunch, I'm done with my coffee. When I go back downstairs, I get my lunch, I bring up a bottle of something. It could be this is, a zero sugar Diet Snapple. I really like Diet Snapple, especially when the summer gets here, so I get a case of those from, like, BJ's, Costco, whatever. So I'll have one of these. So this is another 20 ounces. So now I'm looking at 44 ounces. I'm like, if I can get this done after my 30 minutes after lunch, then I have to, and if I have it sitting in front of me, it's looking at me, and that reminds me. So
Mhm.
I always I have like 2 to 3 beverages at my desk with me at a time because I need something to, I've gotta get this stuff in. So I'll drink one of these. And then I've already had plain water. I drink my one plain water in the morning. And then after that, it turns into tea or like a vitamin water. And then if I'm working out that day, when I go to the gym, I will drink another. And I think it's like 16 or 20 ounces of like a Gatorade, like a zero Gatorade or something like that. I'll drink that within the
Mhm.
hour that I'm at the class because I'm super thirsty at that point.
Mhm.
And then I've hit my goal. And my goal is to hit my goal by 7 p.m. And I did that 3 times this week. And I told Jesse, I'm like, ironically or not, I was 156 the other day. I weighed myself earlier in the week. And then this morning I hit my water goal the last 3 days by 7 p.m. I was 151 today, which is an all-time new low for me.
Mhm.
But that's not a coincidence. I
Mhm.
didn't do anything any different, but I nailed my water goal by 7 PM every day for the last 3 days, and I think it just helped to, like, flush because my body was holding on to that water.
Mhm. Well,
So
that's what your body will do. If you're dehydrated, it's gonna be like, "Wait a minute, I'm not gonna let this go.
right.
I'm gonna hold on to
Hanging
it."
on to it, yeah.
So I'm a little bit different than Steph, actually very different.
Mm.
So I used to
She has a whole
never
stomach.
I have a whole stomach for one. I never used to drink water. I drink pop or I drank tea. That was pretty much my thing. And then when I started drinking water, I was like, "Ugh, I don't like water." But that was just my mind playing games. You get used to what you do, and then when you do something different, your brain's like, "Hold on, bitch, wait, you're doing something different. Let me tell you you don't like it." But I just, you know what? Not everything you put in your mouth has to be like a party in your mouth. I
Mhm,
need to drink water. My trainer years ago said you need to drink water. So I started drinking water and now I don't drink pop.
mhm.
I don't drink tea, like sweet tea. Oh, it's
It's
so gross.
very rare that I drink any
Ugh,
kinda soda. I remember we went to that one baseball game and you were like, "I really want a Dr. Pepper."
Dr.
I'm like,
Pepper.
"Me too," and we
Yeah.
each had one, and I don't think we finished them.
No, I don't think we
We each
finished
got
them.
one, but it was
No.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
it kinda just like sometimes you just want
Want
that,
it?
but I haven't had one probably since then, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Maybe a diet soda.
So anyway, I just sucked it up. People are like, "Oh, I don't like water." Well, too fucking bad. Like you
Right.
got to drink it. You got to hydrate yourself.
I
Now
don't
you
like
don't
doing
have
my
to drink.
taxes either, but look at me.
Yeah, like not everything has to be like a party in your mouth. So just drink your water. And now I do the same thing as Steph. When I go to bed, I have a hydro flask thing. I put water in there because I like cold water. So in the morning it's still cold. So
Mhm.
I
I
drink
load it with
that.
ice, that's the
I
same.
drink that while I make my coffee. I don't drink it before I make my coffee because I know I'm gonna get plenty throughout the day. But by the time I leave the house, I would have had it all done. And then I'll fill up another one depending on my workout outfit because I have them to match every workout outfit.
And her
So,
shoes.
yes, and my shoes.
Mm,
So I will get another one and I will fill that up before I go to the gym. I'll drink that while I'm at the gym. I'll fill another one up when I finish the gym. I'll drink that while I'm getting ready for work. And so I say I drink four a day, but I probably drink more than that. And then I drink another one throughout the day at work. So when I get home, I typically don't drink a lot of water after work, like 6 o'clock or so, but I'll have a hot tea. I might even have a second or third coffee because I have coffee shops,
mm,
bakeries. So I love coffee.
mm,
But I don't have coffee after 2 o'clock either because I'll be up all night. And so that's kind of my routine now. I don't like anything sweet, which is crazy. I mean, I like brownies, but
mm.
to drink, I don't like
Right.
anything sweet. It's so funny. I don't like sweet and I don't like salty. And I used to drink sweet all the time. Like Mountain Dew,
Mhm.
sweet.
Right.
And then I used to put salt on everything, and now I'm just like I tell her all the time, "Oh my God, that has so much salt."
Mm.
So that's kind of my routine, but the most important thing for me is getting that water in first thing in the morning. It just tastes so good.
Mhm.
Like it tastes so, so good. And there's water additives that you can put in your water if you don't like the taste of
Yeah, I do
water.
like Mio drops and stuff
Yeah, I
because
don't like any of that.
I just do my one plain and
Yeah.
that's it. After that, and part of we've talked about this before, but part of it is when my stomach as small as it is, the little amount of joy and food that I do get,
Mhm,
I just I want I need something more than just plain water. I'll
mhm.
drink the one and then after that I turn over to like something else but without sugar.
Yeah. And I'll do like I'll buy a case of like vitamin water and it'll last me like a month or more. Like I don't even drink one a day.
I drink
I
one
might
every
drink
day.
two a week, if that. And so yeah, for me it's just plain water. I love it. I used to not love it. So if you don't love it, give it a try. And
Mhm.
then when your brain's saying, "Oh my God, this is so gross," keep drinking it.
Right.
And then eventually your brain will catch up because it's like, "Oh wait, I like this. This is now our new norm, and I'm going to be okay with it."
But you can drink too much water
Yeah.
too
So I had that. Remember?
because it fucks with your electrolytes,
So,
right?
yeah, so I was drinking too much water. I was having like heart palpitations and all kinds of weird stuff. Went to the doctor. They sent me to a cardiologist. The cardiologist asked me about my diet and this and that. And he's like, A, you're drinking too much water.
Mhm.
B, you're not drinking enough. You don't have enough sodium.
Right.
Um,
Yes, that's it. Sodium and
so
electrolytes or
so
something.
I started adding just a little bit of salt and things here and there, and then I did drop down my water a little bit, because I was probably drinking 8 of those things a day.
Because you don't know
Mhm.
any better. You're like, "Oh, we got you got
Water.
your water."
Yeah,
And so you're
so
just like guzzling.
mhm.
I
So
don't have that problem,
it
but
was the no salt and the no and the
Mm.
too much water, that kind of made me have this, like, weird chest pains and stuff like that. So, but I balanced that. I just think, listening to your body too,
Mhm.
is really important. I have not been as good at my water, like, the last 3 or 4 days. I've just been really busy. I forgot my water bottle, just kinda all kinds of bullshit excuses, right? So now I'm gonna try to get back and focus it
I
on it.
mean, and it's excuses, yes, but it's life.
It's life.
I
Uh-huh.
mean,
Yeah.
yes, it's an excuse, but it's
Mhm.
also life and you but the difference is you recognize
Yep.
it and you're like, "I gotta get this back."
Right, and I feel it. I feel it in my body. I feel it in my mouth, like I'm thirsty and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't had water."
Mhm.
And I think I've been drinking more tea. And so I probably should probably back out on that a
Mhm.
little bit. Um, but yeah, so I think so for those of you who are, thinking about starting a weight loss journey or you are in the middle of it but you're not doing these things to just reset and just really think about it. Think about your sleep, think about your water, and then think about how you can get that down, and then continue to move forward.
Yeah, and I do have one more thing to add about water or hydration in general. As a bariatric patient, because especially in the beginning, it's a struggle, and you'll hear different surgical centers will say different things, but mine and others that I know of, you count your protein shakes as half. So if you drink a 20 or 12 ounce, I think they're typically around 12 ounce, like a bottle of Fairlife or whatever. Let's say you drink a 12-ounce bottle of Fairlife. Some will say you can count the whole 12 ounces towards your hydration. Some say you count half.
Mm.
Um, and so
Do
if
you count water? I mean, of course. Do you count coffee and stuff like
no,
that as
coffee is actually from what I was told, if it's got caffeine in it, it's if it's decaf, yes. If it's got caffeine in it, it actually counterbalances. So if you
so like
drank
my iced tea
right.
has caffeine?
Right.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
it's they say it actually counterbalances it.
hmm.
That's what I was told from, you know, my surgical center in the very beginning, but I do know that you can count your um
Protein shake.
protein shake and then if I do like a pre-workout, I don't count that because that's got caffeine in it, but that's water too, but when I drink like my greens, like my Motivate greens, that's got water in it too, so I count that. There's nothing
Hmm.
to counterbalance there. So I try to think about literally anywhere that I'm getting this water at, where can because that's how hard it is for me as a bariatric patient. But I do typically drink like a shake a day, or I'll do it in the Ninja Creamy. But that counts as some water for me too, towards my hydration. But for me, I still stick with trying to get my 64 ounces, and that's just above and beyond.
Yeah. So, anyways, water and hydration, super, super important. Start there if you don't know where to start. There's a lot of easy things that we gave you. And what's next?
Oof, here we go.
Mhm.
Next is, we just talked about it. It is,
Your
your
why.
why,
Uh-huh.
and it was your why and
Your
something.
future
Your
self.
future self. I don't That's the part I
Yeah.
couldn't think of. But yeah, we're gonna talk about our whys and our future self, because the why, that's the one thing that you have to go back to,
Yeah.
you
All the
know?
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever fall off track, or, start to veer sideways, it's like if you just go back to your why, it kind of centers you.
Yep.
So we're gonna talk about that.
Uh-huh.
And then we're gonna get a Q&A going,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna have another guest on. So we'll have a
Yep.
guest here in a couple of weeks. And yeah, that's our next, like, three. Woo,
Yeah.
look at us knowing three of them.
So anyway, so let's we'll talk to you next time about our why.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.